Stop thinking that your blood type is just a harmless, simple letter printed on your driver's license or medical ID. That single letter is actually playing a far bigger and more serious role in your health than most people ever realize. It can quietly decide how vulnerable you are to certain diseases and even influence how serious problems might develop in your body over time. You might think I'm exaggerating, but the biology doesn't lie and the scientific studies confirm it. A lot of people assume that if you have O-positive blood, you're pretty much safe because you're a universal donor. But that common belief is actually a dangerous myth. If you carry type O blood, you are walking around every single day with a clear biological target painted right on your gut lining, and specific aggressive bacteria are actively hunting for that exact target as we speak. If you're type A, your blood is naturally much stickier than everyone else's, silently forming small clots that can eventually lead to strokes and other serious issues even while you're just sitting comfortably on the couch. This isn't astrology or guesswork. This is real, proven biology. A massive study published in the journal Neurology that followed over 30,000 people for a long period clearly showed that your blood type acts as a strong direct predictor of cognitive decline and increased stroke risk. Meanwhile, important research supported by the American Heart Association demonstrated that individuals with non-O blood types have a significantly higher risk of developing heart failure and other cardiovascular complications. I'm not telling you this to scare you or cause unnecessary panic. I'm sharing these facts because chances are your doctor has never mentioned these hidden connections during your regular checkups. In the next several minutes, I'm going to break down in detail the specific hidden time bombs hidden inside each blood type. O, A, B, and AB, both positive and negative. I'll show you the exact danger loops you might be trapped in without even knowing it. And most importantly, I'll give you the precise, practical safety steps you can start applying today to diffuse those risks and better protect yourself. No more confusion or vague information. Only the raw scientific truth that could genuinely help save your life or the life of someone close to you. However, before we go into the details of your specific blood type, it's very important that you first understand the basic biological mechanism behind all of this. Without this foundation, the solutions may not fully click for you. Imagine your red blood cells as tiny tennis balls floating smoothly through the river of your bloodstream. On the surface of these cells, there are small spikes and sticky patches known as antigens. You can think of these antigens as special biological Velcro. Type A has A-style Velcro. Type B has B-style Velcro. Type AB has both versions at once, and Type O has none. The cells are completely smooth and without any extra attachments. This seemingly small difference matters a great deal because many bacteria and viruses have evolved over thousands of years to perfectly latch onto specific types of this Velcro. When a pathogen finds the exact matching hook for your blood type, it can attach more easily and potentially cause stronger effects inside your body. Additionally, these antigens directly affect how thick or thin your blood tends to be. They essentially decide if your veins are pumping light water or something much thicker, closer to maple syrup. Let's begin with the most common blood type in the world, type O positive, carried by nearly 40% of the global population. You may think you possess the strongest and most original hunter-gatherer blood type. But here comes the surprising and twisted irony that surprises most people. Since type O blood completely lacks the sticky A or B antigens, you naturally have lower levels of an essential clotting protein called von Willebrand factor. This protein works like powerful glue that helps quickly seal wounds and stop bleeding. With reduced amounts of this glue, your blood naturally takes longer to form clots. This characteristic is a true double-edged sword. On the positive side, you are much better protected against random blood clots, deep vein thrombosis, and many types of strokes. You essentially enjoy superflowing, slippery blood that moves freely. However, the dangerous side is genuinely concerning. If you ever experience a serious car accident, undergo major surgery, or suffer a traumatic injury, you face a significantly higher risk of heavy bleeding and hemorrhaging because your blood doesn't clot as quickly. In fact, many trauma surgeons can often guess that a patient is type O simply by observing how difficult it is to control the bleeding on the operating table. Yet the most immediate and daily threat for type O individuals isn't trauma. It's connected to the food you eat. Type O blood cells prominently express the H antigen, which basically functions as an open landing strip or welcome mat for certain harmful bacteria. Nasty pathogens such as cholera, norovirus, and Helicobacter pylori, the well-known cause of stomach ulcers, have perfectly adapted to lock onto this H antigen. It's almost as if they possess a master key that grants them direct and easy access straight into your intestinal lining. This is precisely why, after eating something like bad seafood or contaminated food, a person with type O can end up in the hospital with severe dehydration and serious complications, while others at the same table might only experience a mild stomach ache that disappears quickly. You are not inherently weak. Your biology simply provides a more inviting environment for these particular bacteria to attach. The best natural shield you have is strong stomach acid, which can destroy many of these bugs before they manage to latch onto your gut. Therefore, try to avoid frequent or unnecessary use of antacid medications, as they can weaken this important defense. If you notice any burning sensation or persistent discomfort in your stomach, do not ignore it. People with type O are more genetically prone to ulcers, so consider getting tested for H. pylori sooner rather than later. And before scheduling any kind of surgery, even routine dental work, always clearly inform your doctor that you have type O blood and tend to bleed more easily. This important detail allows the medical team to prepare extra clotting agents and take proper precautions in advance. Now the whole picture flips dramatically when we move to type A positive. If type O is slippery and free-flowing, type A is noticeably sticky, and in our modern lifestyle dominated by long hours of sitting, this becomes a major issue. Type A blood contains the A antigen along with naturally elevated levels of the stress hormone cortisol. But the real silent killer here is hypercoagulability. Your blood has a strong natural tendency to form clots more readily. In ancient times, this trait was actually very useful for survival. If you got scratched or wounded by a wild animal, the bleeding would stop almost immediately. But in today's world, you are not running from predators. You are often sitting still in an office chair or on the sofa for 8, 10, or even more hours a day. When this sticky blood remains motionless for extended periods, it tends to clump together. That's the main reason why type A individuals statistically face a higher risk of deep vein thrombosis, pulmonary embolisms, heart attacks, and strokes. Your blood is simply thicker, more like pumping heavy syrup through your veins rather than light water. Unfortunately, the challenges for type A don't stop at heart disease. Several large epidemiological studies have uncovered a worrying connection between type A blood and a higher likelihood of developing certain cancers, especially gastric cancer and pancreatic cancer. Scientists suggest that the A antigen influences how cells interact with each other and how the body manages inflammatory signals, creating conditions where chronic inflammation can develop and persist over many years. The same H. pylori bacteria interacts far more aggressively with the A antigen, triggering stronger and more prolonged inflammation in the stomach lining that can eventually damage DNA. If you have type A blood, you really cannot afford to live a sedentary lifestyle. Regular movement is genuine medicine for your body. Make it a firm habit to never sit for longer than 45 minutes without standing up and moving around. This simple action serves as real stroke prevention. You should also actively work on reducing stress through practices like meditation, deep breathing exercises, or yoga, because your body tends to release more cortisol, which further thickens your already sticky blood. It's also wise to follow a strong anti-inflammatory diet. Reduce or eliminate processed meats that only add fuel to inflammation, and instead focus on natural plant-based foods and spices such as ginger, garlic, and turmeric, which can help support healthier blood flow and reduce inflammatory responses. Type B positive is present in roughly 10% of the population and carries its own unique yet potentially risky profile, with historical origins often linked to the Himalayan highlands. This blood type generally comes with a robust immune system, but that strength is paired with a notable vulnerability. People with type B often have higher levels of C-reactive protein, which is an important marker indicating increased inflammation in the body. You may not experience the same heavy clotting problems as type A or the bleeding risks of type O, but you are more susceptible to vascular inflammation. Over time, this can make the inner walls of your arteries rougher and more irritated, potentially leading to peripheral artery disease and reduced circulation, particularly noticeable in the hands and feet. If you frequently have cold hands or feet, this factor might be playing a role. The B antigen also acts as a preferred attachment point for certain bacteria, including Salmonella and various strains of E. coli. While type O tends to be hit harder by norovirus, type B individuals commonly suffer from more intense and prolonged bouts of food poisoning, especially from meats, eggs, and poultry, because these bacteria use the B antigen to anchor themselves more firmly into the gut lining. To stay ahead of potential problems, pay close attention to any signs of numbness, tingling, or persistent coldness in your extremities. These can serve as early warning signals. Be very strict about food hygiene, particularly when handling raw poultry or undercooked eggs. Incorporate plenty of nitric oxide-boosting foods such as beets, spinach, and other leafy greens into your regular diet. They help dilate blood vessels, ease inflammation, and support better overall circulation. Next, we have the rarest of the positive blood types, AB positive, found in less than 4% of the world's population. As the universal recipient, you can safely receive blood from any type, which is a significant advantage during emergencies. However, carrying both A and B antigens creates an unusual internal trade-off. Research published in the journal Neurology presented a rather shocking statistic. Individuals with AB blood are approximately 82% more likely to develop cognitive issues, memory problems, and faster brain aging compared to other blood types. This appears to stem from the way the combined antigens affect endothelial function and elevate levels of clotting factor VIII. The result is a slower, sludge-like flow in the tiny microvessels of the brain. Over decades, this reduced microcirculation can gradually limit oxygen supply to brain cells, accelerating age-related cognitive decline. For those with AB blood, keeping the brain stimulated through puzzles, learning new things, reading, or social activities is not just a hobby, it's an important necessity. Regular cardiovascular exercise is equally critical because it actively forces blood through those small capillaries. High blood pressure poses risks for all people, but for AB types it can noticeably speed up cognitive deterioration, so maintaining healthy blood pressure numbers should be a top priority. Now it's time to address the negative blood types. If your blood type includes a minus sign, O negative, A negative, B negative, or AB negative, you are part of a relatively small group, making up only about 15% of all humans. Being Rh negative means your red blood cells lack the rhesus factor protein entirely. Positive blood is like a house with a welcome mat, while negative blood is more like a house with a clear keep out sign. One of the most critical concerns for Rh negative women occurs during pregnancy. If you are carrying an Rh positive baby, your immune system may mistakenly identify the baby's blood cells as foreign invaders and begin to attack them. This condition was formerly known as hemolytic disease of the newborn and could be very dangerous. Thankfully, the Rogum shot is now available and effectively prevents this reaction by masking the baby's blood cells. Make sure you never skip this important discussion with your obstetrician. People with O-negative blood are famous as universal donors, the true heroes in emergency rooms and blood banks around the world. But this heroic status comes with its own serious risks. While you can donate to almost anyone, very few people can donate safely to you. With no A, B, or Rh antigens, you can only receive O-negative blood, which is available from less than 7% of the population. In the event of a major accident or significant blood loss, hospitals may have difficulty locating enough of your rare type in time, creating a potentially life-threatening situation. You also retain the typical type O vulnerability to severe gut infections and dehydration from bacteria like cholera and norovirus, which can further complicate medical treatment if a transfusion is needed. It's a good idea to identify which hospitals in your area maintain large and well-stocked blood banks. Additionally, always wear a medical ID bracelet or carry identification that clearly states O-negative to help emergency teams act faster. A-negative and B-negative individuals face a combination of their ABO-specific risks plus the added challenge of limited blood availability. A-negative carries the sticky blood and clotting tendencies of type A, but can only safely receive A-negative or O-negative donations. B-negative deals with both heightened infection risks from the B antigen and vascular inflammation issues, all while being quite rare, around 1% of people. If surgery is ever planned, the best protective strategy is autologous blood donation, giving your own blood weeks ahead of time so the hospital can store it specifically for you. AB negative stands as the rarest blood type on Earth, appearing in fewer than 0.6% of humans. You possess both A and B antigens without the Rh factor, resulting in a highly complex and sometimes unpredictable immune profile. You can only receive blood from other negative donors, which means that during any large-scale emergency or mass casualty situation, compatible blood may be extremely hard to find. One smart safety approach is to learn the blood types of your immediate family members, since genetics frequently cluster within families and a compatible relative could become a valuable resource. To bring everything together, here is your practical safety guide based on your blood type. If you are type O, carefully guard your gut health, stay vigilant for any signs of ulcers or persistent digestive issues, and always alert medical staff about your increased bleeding risk before procedures. If you are type A, prioritize constant movement throughout the day, actively manage your stress levels, and choose foods that help reduce inflammation and support smoother blood flow. If you are type B, keep a close eye on inflammation and circulation in your extremities, maintain excellent Food hygiene standards, and include vessel-friendly foods in your daily meals that if you are type AB, regularly challenge your brain with mental activities and engage in consistent cardio exercise to help protect cognitive function. If you have a negative blood type, always wear clear medical identification and stay informed about blood supply options in your local area. The conventional medical system often treats patients as average numbers and statistics, but in reality, you are a highly specific biological machine with your own unique set of rules and needs. Now that you have this detailed manual tailored to your blood type, you no longer need to move forward without this crucial knowledge. Go ahead and type your blood type in the comments section right now. Let's build a supportive community where people sharing the same blood type can connect, exchange experiences, and help each other better manage these specific risks.